Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnotic coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you want to know more about my professional work, and I hope you do, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video, and you can also sign up for my free e-newsletter, Power Lines. So check it out if you have an interest. Well, today I have kind of a light-hearted podcast for you. I want to talk about a phenomena that most of us will have had at some point in our life where we started a relationship or a conversation with someone we were attracted to while we were also drunk, sometimes called looking at someone through beer goggles. It's a common comedy meme of someone seeming handsome or beautiful at the time, but later when we sobered up, we asked ourselves, what was I thinking? And like I said, the common way we refer to this is to say we were viewing that person through beer goggles, meaning our perceptions were skewed by the alcohol. Now, ordinarily, I would not give a lot of attention to something like this, apart from stories from clients and one college roommate. I have no direct experience with this phenomena. I've never had beer goggles in my personal life, which, kind of isn't surprising. Kids from homes that were fraught with problems will often, not always, but often, tend to avoid getting into situations where their defenses are down. That's because you learn that if you let that happen to you, if you're not on your guard, that's when someone's going to try to hurt you. So I'm very hesitant about ever letting myself get inebriated. That said, some clients have reported meeting someone while tipsy and thinking that that person was wonderful, only to realize they made a mistake afterwards. They can feel embarrassed, and they could end up hurting someone's feelings, rejecting someone later. Not good. Well, recently, some social scientists who perhaps might reasonably be accused of having too much time on their hands decided to research the phenomena of beer goggles to see if this is something that's real or if it's just a meme that people use to kind of excuse themselves from commitments that they were not prepared to make. And so an article has appeared entitled Beer Goggles or Liquid Courage, Alcohol, Attractiveness, Perceptions, and Partner Selection Among Men. It appeared in the August 2023 edition of the Journal of Alcohol and Drugs, authored by Molly Bolin and Michael Sayette. And actually, it's kind of interesting. They showed a group of men images of a group of women, and the men rated the women on a scale of perceived attractiveness. I realize that's not politically correct, but that's what these scientists did. Now, they did this twice. Once while the guys were sober, and once while they had ingested enough vodka to raise their breath blood alcohol level to 0.07. That's enough to have a bit of a buzz, about 2 drinks for an average size guy. You'll feel it, but you won't be drunk at that point. Well, apparently the sessions were separated by enough time so that the guys wouldn't remember how they rated the individual female images they had viewed. Well, interestingly, both the sober group and the inebriated group rated the women exactly the same in terms of their perceived attractiveness. However, when asked questions, the guys who had drunk the booze were twice as likely to express an interest in actually meeting the women in the photographs. as the sober guys. So the guys who had a little buzz on were much more willing to actually pursue that and meet the women in question than the sober guys were, although both the sober and inebriated cohorts agreed about the attractiveness of the people involved. The theory is that the guys, when sober, felt a lack of self-confidence, which was medicated away when they had the drinks that made them less inhibited. So the alcohol didn't actually impair decision-making about attractiveness. It affected the willingness to risk making contact with someone who might potentially reject one. So the idea of, waking up in bed next to someone you met at a bar and thought was attractive the night before, only to find them not attractive in the morning, is apparently a myth. You pretty much find the same people attractive when you're sober versus when you're not. So there really don't seem to be beer goggles. That doesn't seem to be a valid concept at all. What is the case is that you're less inhibited if you've had some alcohol and are therefore more likely to reach out and try to establish a relationship. Now, there is an important caveat here in that the guys in the study were a bit buzzy after about 2 drinks. However, they were not completely sloshed to the point where they didn't know what they were doing, and that must be remembered when evaluating the results. Now, for me, this strongly suggests that the problem people may, especially guys, may report in meeting another person is really likely one of self-confidence, not decision-making. The alcohol doesn't actually change the perception of attractiveness. It simply helps one get over the fear of rejection, so you're willing to take the risk to go up and introduce yourself. Well, if that's the case, I think there's some good news here, and the good news for my guy friends and other people interested in meeting attractive others is that you don't have to be drunk to do that. You can get your self-confidence in the right place without having to imbibe alcohol, and then you'll be able to connect with other people without needing bottled courage. And another piece of really good news here is that hypnotism is very easy and a very quick way for a person to get their self-confidence on track. So folks of all genders, if you're lonely, reach for your self-confidence, not a bottle. You'll probably have a better time. Beer goggles don't seem to actually exist. What exists is a problem with confidence, and hypnotism is a really good way to do that. And there isn't a hypnotist out there that doesn't know about ego-strengthening techniques. So hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. You are invited. It helps me a lot if you let others know about my work and my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel, and have a great week.